Good morning, my beautiful, lovely friends. It's Marta here. Welcome back. Today, I'm starting slightly different from showing you the end result of my project today. I hope you will enjoy it. I hope it will spark joy. We've got quite a lot to tackle in, but this card, although it's very, very beautiful, it's so simple and easy, and the vast majority of you will be able to easily recreate that. Even though if you may not have the oval shape dice, you may use something else, or you could cut the square with your X-Acto knife, so that'll be easy to follow. Now here is a quick beginning of the video I've started, but it took me 2 hours to create the card, so I've tried to edit it, and here is the two of my last cards. I really like this elegant style. I'm feeling this shabby chic style all over, and I just want to create that. So what I'm gonna use, there's two pieces of free digital papers. I also have the spare one. The last very pale pink color paper comes from the Art Story. That's the Polish company who is producing digital papers, but eventually I didn't use that. I also have some metal trinkets and this gold bubbly, like a ribbon. It's also like made from plastic, pretend to be painted gold as metal, and this is what I want to use in the first place. But then I'm gonna give up all this gold extras, and I'm just gonna put on this very elegant white and design paper look. So here I'm scoring two pieces of A4 size card in half, and this is gonna be this trifold card, so I want to glue them on the back, but I'm trimming the one of them around 2 inches. It doesn't really matter where do you cut it. It's just so I could place some design paper on the other piece, so I could have this card nicely dress up on all sides. I'm using very old Martha Stewart punch, but you could also use a border die or just leave it plain, depending how much time and effort you would like to put into your card, and also if you like them to be more fancy dress up or not. But this is very quick and very elegant. I just love this look. Now I'm cutting aperture on one piece, and you can see here how this card will be glued together. And once I finish with my aperture, I want to create the front panel layer. And this is something I want to tell you. If I would to redo this card back again, I would first cut this mat slightly smaller than the front panel card. Then I would attach it temporarily attach it with the masking tape together, and I would run my die just once. And here I'm trying to position it in the exact same space, and what I come up with, I place my paper from upside from the back side, so you can see here I'm adhering it to the card, and now I will replace the die in the same position. But as I'm saying, it's just some things are coming to you once you work on it. It would be easier just to adhere temporarily even, and then just use the die to cut it once, just send it through. Because one more thing I wish to tell you, this design paper I'm working on today, this is leftover pieces which I've printed on a copy paper. This is just a simple copy paper. It's very delicate, it's very flimsy, I would say, and normally I like to use a slightly higher paper grade, but because I had those one, I don't like to waste my paper. I already print those design on a copy paper. I just felt like, okay, I have to use it up. Now, to make my job easier, I don't know if you catch it, but I instantly mark myself top piece of this part of this aperture. I'm doing that because it's very hard to actually position your oval shape in exactly the same spot. So later on, if you would not mark yourself where is the top and the bottom, you could accidentally adhere it upside down, and then your oval aperture, it's not gonna be working well. Sometimes you can save it if you're using the liquid adhesive. You place it, then you can quickly take it out and move your card upside down. But better to save yourself a trouble. Pencil is your best friend. You can always mark everything, and I'm doing it so many times just to save myself from later hassle. Now, I had idea that I want to round the corners on one side. I thought, this is gonna be something nice. Instead of it having this rectangle piece up front, I'm just gonna do something else to help it look fancy. But this is copy paper. You can see here how fiddly it is, and it didn't work because my punch is not as sharp anymore. It's very old one, and it actually crinkled the paper rather than cut it. So what I'm doing, I'm taking the same oval die which I was using to cut my elements, and I'm placing the die on the paper directly. I'm holding it with my fingers, and then I am smoothing my blade of X-Acto knife right beside the cutting, beside the edge of the die. And this is so simple. You can do that. You can also use some other object like a saucer plate or something else, and use your X-Acto knife to help you trace the object, and that way you can do any shape you like, even if you don't have die cutting machine and dies. Now, I don't know if I mentioned that, but on this aperture with the design paper, I used the one die size bigger, and I cut it a very thin frame so I could have this nice frame on the inside as well. So I'm having this white edges all around, and then a white edge on the inside, and I think it's just adding such a way more elegance. And here once I place the paper, I put my die slightly like 2 millimeters away, just so I could keep the same distance as on the other edges, and then I use the X-Acto knife to trace it, and voila, this is so simple. Later on, I thought I have this beautiful spellbinder like a border die I could use and create it even more fancier, but this was my initial idea. It actually started from the point I wanted just to round my corners, but here we are, and I think this is such a unusual look. Now I'm taking this oval shape from the design paper you can see here, and I am folding it in half, then in half, and in half, so we could have like a 8 equal parts. And I know it's looking strange, like what am I doing, but this is one thing, like believe in the process, and it's so simple. Obviously you will need a thinner paper for that, so if you work on a thick cardstock you may not be able to do that, but you can then fold it, unfold it, and then fold it in another direction, just to get the same result. Now once I have all my pieces like a pizza slice fold, I am placing it on my guillotine, and then I'm just pressing down just to chop 1 millimeter. It's not a lot, just a teeny tiny bit, just to separate those pieces. And also as soon as I fold my paper, I also took the pencil and I write down the number. And this is well, if you've got very nice big design which you can puzzle back, it will be no problem. But if you've got some busy design, sometimes it will take you time just to puzzle it back. So in order to help myself, what I did, I took the pencil, I write down all the numbers, and I was ready to go. Now I'm trying to give a little bit dimension to all these pieces, and what I'm doing, I'm just gently folding each one side of those like a pizza slices, just like 1 millimeter up. It's not a lot, but it will help to create the bigger spaces in between those slices, and it will also give it this very nice dimensional look. And even if though this is just a copy paper, I'm super happy because it was so easy to work with it, and I need to use it more often. And here I am just adhering all those pieces, and my central point element is easy. Now I'm gonna need something to back up this front side. I have this idea, which I'm gonna put the lace all over this oval aperture, but I will need something to cover up from the other side, so it's not gonna be you know, visible, this ugly glue marks. So I've cut myself a similar panel. Then I am placing my the same aperture die on it once it's held in place, and once I secure the die, I will then cut it through, and I will have the exact same you know, element to put up. All I have to do is just round up those corners. So here you can see I gently take it out from underneath this card, and I'm just gonna send it through my die cutting machine. And of course, once it's cut, I'm doing the exactly same thing with the X-Acto knife and the die, and that way this is such a great way to extend the use of your dies, because you can create so many extra elements to help you out to mat and layer your elements. Imagine yourself, your die is go to the specific size, but you want to cut around it, and that way you could create yourself additional mat and layering to basically all your dies. If you have maybe not too intricate shape, but if you've got something oval, circular, easy shape, or like a diamond or something, you could very easy create a larger size with the X-Acto knife. Here I am placing my piece into embossing folder, and the only one thing to remember is that the embossing has to be on the opposite side, because this piece will face up different direction than the front of your card. But dependingly, if you'd like your design to be embossed or debossed, this is the effect, just to keep in mind, to keep it you know, right side up, dependingly which design you would like to get. Now I'm taking this very inexpensive lace, it's like a ribbon lace. I think they're very popular to buy on the Amazon or eBay, something like that. If you look for a lacy ribbon, you'll find them, and they are coming in so many different colors as well, just to let you know. And then I've just cut it half, so it will be just a smaller piece, and now I am just folding and gluing it with the hot glue, and this take around couple minutes, maybe 1 or 2, but it's so worth it. I absolutely love it, because this lacy ribbon is very thin, so it's not gonna create very much bulkiness, but it's adding this incredibly elegant look, and it's just cherry on the top. I'm so happy I come up with this idea for this project, that you can see here how lovely it looks like, and especially that having this white ribbon, white you know, pieces all around, is just making it looking very, very pretty. Now I had the idea that once I'm gonna emboss my element, I will take the very light pink color ink, and I will just wrap around the edges of this piece, just so I could enhance the embossing pattern. But I didn't do so because to be honest, I didn't cut it very even. Like this layer behind the aperture, it's slightly uneven. So because it's white on white, it's very little visible. But if I would go over the edges with the ink, I would definitely make it sure it will become way more visible. So sometimes you just have to you know, give up some of your ideas in order, if it serves you better, it's better to leave it white than just leave it white, and visually it's just gonna be looking better. Now I am trimming another piece of the white card, and this will go up front, the other piece, once you open it up. And here is this circle, and I thought you will need some sort of the border, and I realized that in my stash I have those scallop ovals, which are matching with the basic ovals, and these are inverted scallops and regular scallops, and once you join them you will get this beautiful trim. If you don't have anything like that, you can take a very thin like a ribbon string. There is this upholstery strings which I've been using many times in my crafty projects, and these are also great to create all sorts of the borders. Or you could take two dice, one larger, one smaller, and just create the plain stray cut oval shape as well, just to place it. And I think it's just making the job by framing this lovely oval shape here. So here, this is how my card will be joined, but before I'm gonna join it, I will place the other piece of the same design paper as on the front, just so that will go inside. And as you can see, I am basically using every single piece of this flowery design paper. Not even a single trim will be waste here, because I use them all. And this is something I absolutely love in card making, is that allow me to work with my papers dependently what I have. I can then add another layer and another layer. And here is the other design, and I only have one print of it. And my initial thought would be to have two pages, so I could fill both sides, like first one cut it on right upper corner, and the other part cut on a left bottom corner. But I just thought, like, okay, I didn't have it, I only have one, so I will just use what I have. And here is this very narrow frame which I cut at the beginning by creating this watt mat on the front panel. I gained this additional layer which I then use up to framing up my panel to write down the wishes. And here is the rest of this paper with the chairs. And as I'm saying, I would probably reprint it and fill up the whole page, but because I didn't had more, I thought, like, okay, Marta, you have to work with what you have. There's no point for reprinting another page and another page. And then I just used the small piece left over to cut up the corners. And because I have this oval panel on the top anyway, that's not really much visible, and I think it's just even adding way more interest to the entire project by doing this way, rather than having just a plain pink color paper filling up the whole page. So sometimes, and this is again one of those happy accidents when I'm just kind of be forced to rethink it. The paper is kind of be forcing me to have a thought, like, okay, you don't have enough, what you can do. So this was solution, and I think the solution is actually came up better than the original thought by filling the whole page. Now, what I have to do is just to glue down this circle, and I'm adding the layer of the liquid adhesive, and I'm placing it and trying to center it once this front panel is closed. That way I have this perfect match in between those two layers, and I think it's just becoming so pretty. As soon as I will place this frame on the top, it's just like starting looking incredible. Let me know what you think about this project. Let me know if you would like to see more fancy those wowzer cards as well, if this is something you will be interested in, or you would like to see more plain, quicker solution. Here I found this Christmassy die which says peace inside, but I really like it because it has this beautiful ornamental layer around it. And I cut it 3 times just so I could create this kind of like a chipboardy look effect on the design, and I adhere it in the central portion. And I like that you can still see through those lacy layers, but it's just given this nice central focal point. Lastly, I adhere this metal bit in the center, just so I could have some centraling point. Here is the last piece of the paper, which I really regret that could be slightly wider, but even though I just wanted to adhere something on the other side, so it will frame the whole composition. On the top, on the bottom, I will have the paper. So that will be this panel. And now what I have to do, I will have to create some sort of a closure because I wanted to keep it nicely closed so it's not gonna be, stay open up. And for that, I grab a couple of the dice from my older, dice collection, and I'm gonna create the strip, which I'm gonna do by partially cutting the label. If you've got any fancy label, this is the great way for creating all sort of the bells, or like, closure for a belly band, something like that, because that will give you this very beautiful finished look. And all you have to do just to cut one side of it. Look on the how pretty it looks like. It's just this beautifully finished element. And if I had more paper, I would probably add the pinkish layer on top of it, and then just like round it, so the white lace will remain uncovered. But because I didn't have, I just thought like, okay, white is good. Now I am folding two lines, and it's 1/8 of the inch increments between them, just so they could have this thickness to, round up around my card. I've trimmed it slightly, so that will be fitting the area where I need to place it. And then I'm cutting additional elements. So here you can see I'm adding the glue to this piece, and I'm just adhering it at the front, but to not make it looking ugly, I'm just covering up this piece with additional decorative trim. And once I place it on top, you can hardly see it. For the next time, I would probably adhere it underneath the design paper, but sometimes when you add your things to your already made project, you just have to work with what you have. And here I am placing this longer label on the back, so then I could slide my belt and my card staying close. All I'm gonna do finally to just finish it off is just adding couple of the pearls, and the project will be ready. So if this is something you like to see, if you enjoyed that, please don't forget to give a like, to share the video with your friends. Maybe there is someone who's looking for a card for a very special occasion. And as I've mentioned at the beginning, the card was made with the free papers. So in order to get them, all you have to do is just to visit my Buy Me a Coffee page and download the design you would like. And then it would be very nice if you would create, once you create something, if you would share it on our Facebook group. I would love to see that. That will be me for today. I just want to say thank you so very much. I'll be coming back with another video shortly, hopefully. I don't have a regular schedule, so if you want if you don't like to miss any more of my videos, please make sure you click the notification bell, and that way you'll know exactly where I post. Right now I'm just adding couple pairs on the back, and here is the final look of the project back again. I think it's turned out really pretty. Let me know what you think. I'm wishing you all a fabulous day. Stay blessed, my friends, and bye bye.